Good afternoon, actually good evening, America. Holy shamoli. We had a turn of events today, and it was intense, it was fast, it was sexy, it was destructive, all of the above. So today, we're going to dig into these market indexes, figure out what the heck is going on, if this is just a one-time thing, or if this is something deeper. As we have been talking about for weeks on these videos, I do believe and have believed for many weeks that we are entering a period of a longer consolidation as the market has already made a huge run since November. And the longer the run, the longer the consolidation usually is. And today was just a nasty action. And so let's dig into this, because it's not just that we were down 1.3%. It was that we were up quite a bit today. And then we had a broad-based rollover in all the indices. Big shout out to the stock hunter in our chat room too, man. He had puts in our options chat room at the beginning of the day, nearly the high of the day, on all these indices, the IWM, the QQQ SPY, and just a monster cock rollover. So you can see here, SPY broke under the 20-day moving average, faded right at highs too. Interesting how those things work out, right? And then, dude, right, you got a big breakdown here. Now, we are at the 50-day moving average in the QQQ, so we'll see what's going on for tomorrow. It'd be hard to just really knife right through that, but we do have to be careful that there is some risk at the table. And I didn't see much news out. I do subscribe to Bespoke here, and they had mentioned a couple things here, which was, right around the afternoon, you started to get Goolsby on the tape, and, he was chatting. And then you had Kashkari and Meester. And really the big thing was that the crude oil started to surge, and it started right around about noon. And you started to see oil just like really start to pick up steam. It started like creeping around noon. And then it was off to the races. Like, you saw oil just getting jiggy. And so we had a really, really interesting reversal. And you can see here, right? Like at the higher day right before 2 p.m., the NASDAQ was up 1.2%. And then the rally came in crude as rumors that Israel is preparing for imminent military strike. Now, these are like, these are headlines that usually are kind of bullshit, but they can send the market really in a nasty point. And so we'll have to really be tight. We're going to have to be really tight tomorrow. Anything could happen. We have a couple things that we need to be aware of. Number one is that the QQQs is sitting right at the 50-day moving average. And we're at the lower Bollinger Band. So if we have a big gap down tomorrow, there's a good shot that we probably bounce at least at the open, and then we'll see if we roll over or something like that later into the close. The ideal would be if we kind of gapped up slightly and then we rolled over and give us a little bit more juice. But I think, dude, we've got some real interesting spots here. I mean, look, the Qs, the SPY, this is like a bearish engulfing candle on steroids, right? Fade off at the resistance, crack under this. So this has got a date with the 50-day moving average too. And we need it. Look, if you zoom out like this, we've not tested this 50-day moving average this whole time, right? So we've just been running, and look how steep that curve is. So we've got to come in and test this, if not even undercut it, for just the sake of the rally anyways. Like, you need these pullbacks. You have to have these pullbacks. Look how steep this is, right? So when you're this steep, you need the pullback. We're getting it. We want it. We embrace it. And let's have some fun tomorrow. Give me a gap up tomorrow. We'll fade the shit out of some things, and we'll see what's up. Now, we've got jobs report right in the morning too. And so there's a chance. Look, if the jobs report stinks, I repeat, if the job report stinks, the market's going to gap up and it's going to spike up. The market wants to see the job report stink because it will reduce the pressure of inflation. It gives you a higher chance of rate cuts. This oil thing is a huge thing. So you see this right at 2 p.m., you just started to push. And that's what put the pressure on the market. And so we've got to be super careful tomorrow not to get stuck in this. Like, there's a lot of cross currents happening, and it's not an easy play. And the reason it's not an easy play is you got the Qs right on this damn support, and and we have this jobs report tomorrow, and so we've got a lot of different things going on. But my guess is, look, the market's been looking for a reason to sell off for some time. We've been consolidating for a month. It's been looking for a reason to sell. People got itchy trigger fingers. They want to take their profits on the metas and the Nvidias. They don't know when. So sometimes you got to force the issue, and that's what's happening. I think tomorrow we just stick with the big boys. I would not go in with some big fancy list of small caps and all this kind of stuff. If you look here at Microsoft, I mean, this is an hourly chart. This is a sweet spot right here. If you can stay under there, then you've got room right to the 50-day moving average, right? You saw Tesla with a big push on some news today, but it completely rolled over. It's a little bit in, I think, no man's land. You leave that one alone. Meta, top of the Bollinger Band, reversal candle, today. This is right at resistance. If we need a short, look at the range on this thing. If we need a short, this one is looking pretty juicy. You got room down into these AMAs, if we need it. And then Apple's right on the cliff here too, right? So you've got 168. Like, dude, hot damn. If this breaks 168, it's game on. Amazon, big bearish engulfing candle. Like, I think we want to just stick with these. Google broke under the 9 EMA. You got room down to here, right? So this is like your hourly chart. You're crossing below the 50 EMA. Dude, you got a hammer candle on the weekly. This is your 15-minute chart. Like, you're breaking supports everywhere. Guys, this NVIDIA, look at the monster candle on this thing, right? You broke this 2-day range. You're right there. Look at your hourly chart, 15-minute chart. Like, you got room down to the 9 EMA on the weekly or the 50 on the daily. We want to be a part of that. And then, AMD was the big tell today. It started rolling over from tick one. You've got this huge bear flag here. It looked like a rounding pattern. Now it's a bear flag. And, dude, hourly chart, like, you got breakdowns everywhere. You get a gap up on this thing tomorrow. My guess is there's some news coming out on this. They're probably going to miss their earnings or something, and they'll pre-announce, or there'll be some kind of deal out. I think you want to stick with these kind of big boys. Like, I wouldn't go in with anything else. We want to keep shorting these pot stocks. We were shorting these earlier today. CGC, ACB. And, I think one last one that we could get a nice hurrah. You can never trade this one. Because it's too expensive and the options are too expensive. But for tomorrow, this is probably top of the list. This is top of the list for tomorrow because the puts will be cheap as fuck. Sorry for the swearing. You can get like a 900 puts if we need it. There is a chance, guys, that the jobs report comes in a way where, we end up having to chase back this market, right? And then we got to flip everything and do all of that kind of stuff. That's just part of the game, and we'll be ready for that too. And, if we got to do that, we got to do that. And there's still some, really awesome, right? Awesome little lookers still that, we can roll with, like MU and stuff that are still pretty strong. But, dude, the market's looking nasty. I want to just stick with the big boys and these kind of couple pot stocks and just keep things simple. And then let's roll. All right? Peace, guys.